Hi, I'm Brava Jendra and I welcome you to this third session of the haftarah for Rosh Hashanah. Now we're crossing into Yom Kippur, and the reading that we have is from the book of Isaiah, chapters 57 to 58. Basically, this is about Israelites being in Babylon. You remember that in my previous video I talked about the danger that the Babylonians were for Jerusalem, that they were threatening to conquer Jerusalem. So they did, and they destroyed Jerusalem, and they took the king and they took the nobility and other important people and brought them to Babylon. And they stayed there for 70 years. So during those 70 years, they got used to the ways of the Babylonians. So here comes the challenge from Isaiah, and the challenge is to change their ways. The text is a very powerful text because Isaiah condemns the exploitation. Isaiah the prophet condemns them for exploiting the poor, for not caring for the needy. And he clearly says that fasting and religion is meaningless because the thing that God really cares for is to free the oppressed, to feed the hungry, and to clothe the naked. So the message from the haftarah from Isaiah is very simple. It's when we respond to our social responsibilities, when we face those social responsibilities, only then God will answer our prayers. This is also a very similar message that we have in the third blessing that follows the Shema in the morning service. There is a discussion about what means afar and near in this haftarah, because there is a moment when it talks about spread the message to those afar and near. And the rabbis in the Talmud wonder, afar and near from where? Is this a geographical term? And like many times in the Talmud, there is not only one answer, there are two answers. A group of rabbis in the tractate Berachot, page 34b, they say no, this is afar and near from God. So this is afar and near from goodness. But another group of rabbis say no. You got it wrong. This is about afar and near from sin. How close or how separated are you from sin? The text for the Yom Kippur morning talks about the three types of sin that the rabbis identified later on as pesha, chet, and avar. Pesha means the sin that we commit willingly. Chet is the one that we commit accidentally. And avar is the iniquity. The connection between this reading and the holiday is very simple. Think about al chet shechatanu lefanecha. When we recite that long list of sins, for the sin that we have committed for this, for the sin that we have committed for that, and especially the last paragraph, the last group of sins that are mentioned in that long prayer, for the sins that we have committed under compulsion, and for the sins that we have committed willingly, for the sins that we have committed secretly, and for the sins that we have committed openly, for the sins that we have committed accidentally, and for the sins that we have committed intentionally, for the sins that require action, and for the sins that we have done because we have been inactive, for the sins that we are aware, and for the sins that we are unaware. There is a third theme in this reading for the haftarah. The prophet is asked to raise his voice like a shofar. And that reminded me of that famous passage from Maimonides when he says like that the shofar, it's like a voice, like a cry, with the intent of awaken our souls. So are we awakened when we hear that haftarah reading? Are we awakened when we hear the prophet to say that God does not care for our fasting, that God does not care for our sacrifices, that God only cares when we free the oppressed, when we feed the hunger, when we clothe the naked, when we care for the poor and the needy in our society. Another message that is there, and this is a very interesting one, is God always will take us back. It doesn't matter. And that reminds me of Kol Nidre. When after reciting Kol Nidre 3 times, we have 3 texts from the book of Numbers that remind us of this forgiving. And the first text says, and the whole congregation shall be forgiven, from Numbers 15. And the second passage says, and Moses said to God, please forgive them. And the third passage finally concludes by saying, and God said, I forgive them. So I was wondering always at the end of Kol Nidre, is if all this forgiving, 3 times forgiving, if all this forgiving is a reminder for God, what reminder for us, what reminder for both? And talking about forgiving, there is another passage that we need to remember from the Mishnah. Mishnah Yoma, chapter 8-9, says that Yom Kippur does not atone for the sins committed between person to person if we first do not go to that person and ask for forgiveness. And there is one last message here from this haftarah that I take with me every year. That Yom Kippur contains at the end a positive message. It's a message of reassurance. A message that God, as a good parent, has our back and will take us back no matter what, basically. And there is a wonderful text that I love in the liturgy for Yom Kippur, which is Kianu Amecha, that says, because we are your people, you are our God. Because we are your children, you are our parent. Because we are your congregation, you are our leader. Because we are your state, you are our trustee. And because we are your chosen one, you are our chosen one. So thank you very much for bearing with me for this 3rd video for the first reading of Yom Kippur morning. Our next video will be the last one. It's going to be Yom Kippur Mincha and the book of Jonah, a very interesting book. So again, thank you for watching me again, and I'm Rabbi Jendra from Congregation Beth Tikva B'nai Israel in Sewell, New Jersey. If you want to know more about us, please check our website cbtbi.org. Thank you very much.